Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Miss Marvel reviews. I am Travis B. Snail. I got nothing. I got no nicknames. These gentlemen have got all whatnot. I'll steal from Marvel Alliance. I'm the podcaster Mischief, Travis Snail, and I'm joined by.
I am haram.com Ron Kirklin Patzer. Kind of slipped that.
Yeah, Cumron. You said Cumron. That's something
I'm
different.
not the Cumron.
Yeah.
Hi, and the big me, little me, Dylan Muss.
I am the Nightlight Taylor Field.
Well, today, Phil, lead us off. Where can they find us? We got lots of stuff. There's daily cast. There's reviews for multiple shows. The Boys, Obi-Wan, this show. You got side quests popping off. We just did a Strikers review. You got a newscast. Got Lightyear coming up. There's just the next few weeks are just riddled with content, riddled with our voices. We just record some some Patreon content. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find us with your internet connection in the search bar. GeekVerse.ca is our home base. GeekVerseCast is our Twitter. GeekVerse is our Facebook.
yeah, and the best way to support us is head down links below, and you can find everything, our audio, our video, where to find our separate feeds, where to find the podcast network, where to rate, review, subscribe, and most importantly, where to support us on Patreon, because not only do you get benefits as far as ad-free and early exclusive episodes, you get I already said that, you get exclusive episodes. There's 3 of them. There's different tiers. You get behind the scenes, you get schedules, all that good stuff, and it supports the podcast. The more you support us, the more we can do for each and every one of you. Taylor Field, I'm going to throw to you first. Obviously, non-spoiler thoughts, but I want to throw to you because you were not on last week's episode. So I just want to get your general, just a quick, 30-second, what did you think of last week and just the show so far with that, including episode 2?
Yeah, going into the show, I didn't have much hype. Like I will say that. Like the previews made me feel like this is gonna be like more of the kiddie end compared to what we've gotten so far on these Disney Plus shows. But getting into it in that first episode and like really sitting down and watching it, I actually really enjoyed the adventure we were getting into. It gave me like Hawkeye vibes a little bit from just the Kate Bishop perspective. And
Emily said the same thing, and I was like, no, Clint is like PTSD, but you're not alone.
No, I like that. I like that component, not the PTSD aspect, but the Kate Bishop dynamic and seeing her again in school. This is kind of an element that I quite enjoy because we get a little bit of that like Peter Parker vibe in high school, and it's a fun dynamic to see this superhero kind of becoming a superhero and just kind of dealing with this dynamic. So I like that first episode a lot, and I think it touched upon some really interesting themes as well. And again, when I was watching with Madison, she was trying to understand like the storyline and everything because she was trying to get caught up after to the point that I got because I started the show already.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought it was interesting because again, these are perspectives that I thought, oh, like I never fully understood like this perspective of, again, like the culture and the backstory attached to like Kamala Khan and like her family and everything, and just the dynamic that she's dealing with and trying to like just be herself and find herself. And I like that they were tackling that, and I was able to realize a little bit more of the dynamic behind this character and the culture associated with her as well. So I liked the episode a lot, and I'm glad that it managed to turn me around from what I was kind of anticipating from the previews. And going into this episode, it was definitely it upped the ante a little bit. I like seeing a little bit more development into, I guess that might be more of a spoiler. We got to see certain things appear that had me wondering, like, okay, like what is the main con in this show? Like what is the main like
The driving action.
rival? Yeah, the driving action, exactly. What is the
You're pretty much just
escalation?
saying villain without villain. That's what you're.
What is the escalation to, as Gordon Ramsay, or not Gordon Ramsay,
Gordon Ramsay.
Jim Gordon says, we carry automatics,
You
they start wearing
fucking
Kevlar.
donkey. That's what he says.
Yeah.
Oh, you just reminded me of that clip. Oh, that clip. where-
yeah. Just absolute shit. What did he
That
say?
crust. See that crust?
Yeah, it's this really mean video that it's not mean, but like it's a woman that like it's not real at all. She's blind and she's made the great pie, and the actual video is him complimenting her. He's like, you hear that, and he
It's really
touches the
emotional.
crust.
It's really
Yeah, it's
sweet,
real
yeah.
emotional. But then at the end of the video, they edited it with him being like, he tastes it. He's like, that's fucking awful. But like he didn't actually say that at all, and it's just like, oh man, the internet just. And I remember, I think I showed Jessica. She's like, "Is this the real clip?" Or maybe no, it's you, Taylor.
That
But
was me,
Gordon
yeah.
Ramsay is not in the MCU, so
That was so funny. Yeah, no, I the rivalry, the escalation that's coming up in future episodes to come. I'm glad that we got to see a little bit more progression in the storyline of that regard. So yeah, very good.
Dylan Muss.
Very good.
Yeah, I really like this episode as well. We talked about last week how and I guess they do this in a lot of their shows where they're switching directors around for episodes and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I really was a fan of the general vibe and style of the first episode, even down to like the camera work and all that. And then we talked about how the directors did the first and last episode, and then there's someone on like a different team, I guess, for the second, third, fourth, fifth. And I gotta say, like it still feels very consistent to me in the best way possible. We still get a lot of that same style with the camera work, with the visual effects, with the music as well. So to me, it feels very consistent, and I'm really happy about that. And as for the story, I think we got a much deeper dive into a couple characters, and yeah, it is moving slow, but in a way that, like, to me, it's partially like just a slice of life thing. I'm really enjoying it as just seeing Kamala and her daily life and stuff like that, and we get a little bit more of the training montage and stuff like that, which I always like in these kinds of movies and shows and whatnot. So yeah, I'm really digging it. I think this is maybe an episode that if I was binging this later, I'd probably like I'd go right ahead to the third episode right afterwards, because I feel like it maybe doesn't give me as much to chew on as the first one did, with just us being able to talk about, okay, how do the powers work and who are all these characters. I feel like I don't know if there's as much a deep dive going into this one, but there definitely is some good stuff there. And yeah, I'm really loving this show so far. I just love the style of it. It's great.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoyed it quite a bit. I think I enjoyed the same length that I did last week. S-Bubs, I know you're super high on it, the peak MCU once again, and I think the good thing is it's consistent. It's not a drop. It's not that, oh yeah, last week was a good pilot and this is all whatever. I think we're learning more about the characters. It feels, we've talked about this before, where sometimes MCU can feel like one big movie. This stuff definitely to me feels more like a TV show, like the way with its cliffhangers and the way it's kind of pacing. So again, my big standout is Amon. There's just one in particular scene I say in the first 15 minutes that she does so well, which could have been cheesy or lame, but put in the right hands, like with her and the team, she just knocks it out of the park. So again, I think if I was with somebody that was a lesser actress, if it was the classic child acting back in the day, and even then I think she's, I don't know what, I think she's 14, 15, still a child, but still, like, I'm enjoying the show enough, but I really enjoy it because she's so good in it. If it was someone lesser, I think I could enjoy it a little bit less than I am right now. I like that we're getting introduced to certain, like Taylor was alluding to, I think we got a trajectory of, okay, this is where we might be going and things like that. I've not read much Miss Marvel, so I know lots of these characters are from the comic books. I think they're doing good pickups on the storylines that happened last week. So yeah, I'm enjoying the show. Again, as of right now, it's not my peak MCU or tippy top MCU, but it's an enjoyable watch. That's what I'd say. It's an enjoyable watch. So
she is 19, as S-Bubs just confirmed. She is.
Well, there you go.
Not even a
Well,
child actress.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of these things. I thought that she was supposed to be. I thought when they cast her, she was younger, because these take so long. But okay, she's
That's what
19.
happens.
She's definitely. I don't think she's playing a 19-year-old in the show. I don't.
No, I think she's
so.
16. I think
Yeah,
that's
okay.
I think that's what her character.
There you go.
supposed
So
to
that's
be,
why I
yeah.
thought she was 15 in real life, but Travis is wrong.
Travis was wrong, which happens, plenty of times. You don't hear about them lots. He doesn't like to, repeat that, but it does happen.
Yeah, so I think it's a real good episode. I can't wait to.
Fuck you, asshole. Okay, yeah, no, I really love this episode. I think it. So like this was a different director than the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
okay.
who, but yeah, Dylan's right, because I'm not sure if it's in blocks of 2 or the 4 in the middle are all different people, but it could be blocks of 2. But definitely wasn't the same guys that did last week in the finale.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, like what Dylan said, I completely agree with that. Like they're doing a really good job at like making them feel like it's the same director. Like it doesn't feel a complete twist going from episode 1 to 2, because that could feel pretty weird. I feel like there has been some shows like that, especially Disney Plus shows in the past, but I think they're doing a really good job at just keeping like the overall feel pretty much the same. And yeah, I mean, like the lead, Iman, is that how you say her name?
Amon, yeah. Amon
Yeah,
Vellani. I
she-
think Vellani. I think that's how you say the last name, but I'm always
She-
scared to say it. So
She is so good at this character, and I think she's just such a powerhouse in the role, and she makes me like really invested in the show and the character, and
Mhm.
I think that hasn't always been the case on like a new character being introduced in the MCU. I mean, let alone someone that has their first introduction as a whole new character, but like she, and at like a younger age, like obviously I knew Oscar Isaac was going to be able to do something like that because I've seen what he's capable of, but to have this new actress come in that I've never seen anything like her in, and I think this going forward, like this is just such a great what's the word, this breakout role, I guess, for lack of a better term. But yeah, I think it's sweet. I think like all the visuals are really really great, and this isn't even really spoiler, it's just like overall I think they're doing a really really good job at like exposing the viewer like to the culture of like her family, and like it not feel like there was a couple moments in Falcon and Winter Soldier where I felt like they were just going a little bit too much of like trying to send a message to the viewer that was more than what the plot was. But I think this show is doing a really healthy balance of not only just explaining the culture but also explaining maybe some problematic sides of the culture. And like for me, like I was introduced to a lot of things in this episode of like, wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. And then like, you know, it kind of forces you to like maybe do more research. And I think that's such a good spot for it, because it doesn't feel like I'm watching the show to learn about a different culture. It's just like a side effect of it in the best way possible. And I think they're doing such a good job at that. And that's only 2 episodes in. I think we are going to be getting more of that going forward. And I think it's really good. I think it's really, really cool. So yeah, overall, I think this show is phenomenal so far. Honestly, first 2 episodes are out, and yeah, no, I think I'll leave it there for spoiler-free section, because I'm definitely excited to talk about some specifics in this episode.
And it's nice to come off of Moon Knight where they're like, oh yeah, he's Jewish in like 30 seconds of the show. It's like, yeah, I guess he's Jewish, but like you're not showing us anything of that. So it's nice there. But yeah, all right, we're gonna take our first ad break. Taylor, you make sure you write that down, because I don't know if you know you're editing tonight, breaking the fourth wall. And we will be right back. And we're back. So Kirklin, you said you're excited to get into spoilers. So you lead us off. Where you want to go to?
I mean, I think
Let's start at the beginning. That's what
let's start
Kirklin
with no,
does.
not exactly there. Let's start with
one.
let's just talk about like the montage of her like experimenting with her powers. I feel like that was such a fun thing to have in this episode, and I don't know why I didn't expect to have it like this early in the show of her just playing around with powers, kind of like what like Toby did in the first Spider-Man. You know, have that montage of him just like seeing what he's capable of. Like that was so fun to see her with oh no, Bruno? Is that
Bruno?
Her little, yeah,
Ryan.
her guy in the
He
chair.
knows my name's Bruno.
Like they're really fun together, and I think just like the visual effects of her powers is really working for me. It looks really really cool and unique. The hard light that they're calling it right now, I think that looks sweet. And yeah, just her getting really giddy of like this newfound thing in her life. It was really really fun. And yeah, just her growing her hand or like putting out those platforms for the first time. Like it was just a really fun montage sequence of her practicing her powers. And then when you see Bruno like playing that one platforming game, she like kind of gets the idea to like try that on her own, and it was just really really fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's I think I think you're kind of discounting the potential of you liking Shazam, Kirkland, because I feel like this is very Shazam-y at moments, and this felt like obviously lots of superheroes like movies have this moment where they're trying the powers, but because they're like kids and they're having such a cool time with it, I think that was good. I like what they're doing with Bruno for the most part. I know we'll get into more of some stuff of the episodes. It's very classic kind of teen drama and stuff like that. But no, I liked it enough. I like the powers for the most part. I think there's a few times where it looks a little like meh, but nothing too log trucky or anything like that. So I like them. I want to see a bit more. I'm excited to see if she's gonna like really embiggen, because she's doing like her hands are getting bigger, but it's like, is she gonna grow? I don't know. But yeah, I like the powers. Obviously, I don't think it's gonna sell the hardcore people that are disappointed with her not having the natural embiggening powers, which I get, but it's a new power, and I'm fine with it. So yeah, it was good training montage. I liked.
They did highlight in this episode that it's not just the bracelet that is doing these powers. It was within her. I mean, this is Bruno's theory. What does he know? He just has
Bruno
like, some,
science.
he just has like the Predator heat signature thing. But saying that the powers are within her, and I guess the bracelet helps bring it out or lets her, I guess, channel it in a way. So I think that's a good touch, and I don't know if that does anything for the hardcores, but maybe they prefer that than just like this bracelet is the thing that gives her. Not that anyone thought that was the case. I feel like we all know, well, it's partly her, part this bracelet, but I guess that was nice to get that confirmed, even if it's not like canon confirmed. It's just Bruno's theory.
Yeah, I think it was good to probably allude to that because I did think there was something lame that would have just been like, yeah, it's just this bracelet. You know, like at any point she could lose it, at any point she take it off.
Right.
And I know it's funny because they call it the what is it, the hard light or whatever it is, and everyone's just like, you know, it again, it's so similar to it is so they don't care about it being similar to Green Lantern, but it's just like, man, it's a same power set, and the fact they're calling it hard light is like I think they could have thought of something else. But the thing I do like that is similar to Green Lantern, where it's like, yeah, it's about these rings, but in order to wield the ring, it has to be like your willpower or something like that. Like it's what's inside you. So I do like it's kind of like that, even though it is very similar. But it, you know,
Well, do you think that is there an idea there where you mentioned that like in that scene when it's in the closet in the school somewhere where her hand does grow, or at least like we see a big bunch of the heart light whatever together.
That was cool and just like falls.
Yeah, is that something that she could learn to do through this, but then maybe later on she can do it just on her own without them, and then obviously like things like throwing out the things that she's standing on. Obviously, she wouldn't be able to do that, but in terms of channeling the power, learning how to use it. Do you think that's something that down the road, maybe that's what they're building towards, is that she can use those abilities, some of those abilities, without the bracelet?
I think it's definitely on the table. I would prefer that because then I think we'll get lots of plots of someone stealing the bracelet or it's the bracelet's broken and stuff like that. What does she do? Like I would like it if it is an inner power, even if like you said you can't create the platforms. If it's just a power within her, I hope they do kind of lose that. But hey, maybe they want to sell some toys and maybe that's why they'll keep it around. Like oh no, so I think you could go. I think both routes are possible. I don't know if I'm in one camp or the other, but I could see her losing that bracelet and having it just to herself.
Mm-hmm. I guess Taylor, you haven't really commented on what you think of the powers since you weren't here last week, but what do you think of it?
I think what you said, Travis, like some things, like it's not all.
I said
like,
some things.
Yeah, some things. You said like tree log or log tree. I can't remember your terminology you stated with that. I wouldn't say.
Whoa,
all of it.
what the
Log
fuck we
tree
talking
level.
about here?
Log
Log
tree
tree?
level on Moon Knight.
Yeah.
Oh
he's
yeah,
talking
okay,
about.
yeah.
Yeah, you forgot your reference. I butchered to explain it, so it's fine.
It's fine. We got there.
What?
Yeah,
is going on
I
right now?
I wouldn't say.
Just derailed it. My
We're in
bad.
the weeds. We're in the weeds.
This is my
We're
bad.
Back on the road.
I wouldn't say like again all of her power usage scenes are kind of like that, but there were some moments when she was moving where it seemed like okay, this is definitely not even like a body.
Oh,
double. This
yeah.
is clearly
End of the
CGI.
montage, right?
I know
she's,
exactly
like,
which moment.
doing
you're
like
talking about,
jumps and stuff. Like this is definitely CGI in full swing.
She had some quad movements going on.
Yeah. So, and even then, stack that with her, the way she's moving around on like these in like nebula looking icebergs that are just populating around, like it's kind of cool. But it definitely seems.
I like that
I think
description.
the color works in the favor of it actually. So it kind of like it reduces the CGI a little bit. But there's times when she's like walking on it, and the scenes are a little bit slower than I feel like you can kind of notice it. But if it's like quick and like fast paced, like even when she like does a very large like swoop with her hand trying to grab like the kid, stuff like that, I really like. I thought it was cool. It looked good. It fits. So I didn't have much qualm with that. Log Truckian CGI.
This show has like I have it in my notes, but I feel like it's unintentionally always making me laugh at children getting hurt. Because like when she saved that kid at the very end, he's on the platform and she like loses it and she just drops the platform. And like, sure, she saved him, but she's just like platform, and he's like boom, 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 and he like lands in the
He almost
car.
snapped his neck.
Well, I don't go that far, but like I just saw like that happen. There was another thing earlier too. Oh man, there was another person getting hurt, and again, I just love that these kids just like every episode between the Hammer last week that they keep putting these little kids in situations where they just keep getting fucked up, but they walk away. They're okay. You know, they're tough kids. You know, they got a couple bandage. They're good to go. So.
Oh yeah, flexible bones.
Yeah. While we're all, I guess we could probably tackle them both, but because we're on the power scene, I wanted to talk about Bruno because we talked about that last week where, you know, we've talked with people where, okay, he's in the comic books. He primarily was just a friend, but we went, okay, are they laying the groundwork for a potential love interest? And we thought, yeah, it should like, it seems like they went the route. This episode was like the full on in your face confirmation of, okay, I don't know if it's Endgame, but like he has feelings for her because it was, that's where it's very Disney Channel tropey Boy Meets World Liz McGuire, where it's the best friend has feelings for the main character, but he can't tell her. So what's he gonna do? He's gonna act like an annoying asshole to like kind of get her attention. And you know, oh, you failed your driving test. Oh, you know, I would want to go here. So I like that for the most part. Again, it's tropey. We've seen this done thousands of times. I think the actor's doing it good enough. And then we also got the introduction for what's his name? The new like love interest, but maybe he's
My
shady.
name, Kamran.
Oh, thank you.
It's on
Uh,
screen.
Yeah, he came out of that pool, so Miss Marvel, Kamal just pretty much fell in love, and they go
I
on
love
like
the
this,
emojis around him too, like just like the
Fire.
rose tinted glasses version that she had for him.
and they go on this like little date, which I actually really liked. I thought they had some fun chemistry. I liked the cousin line. So as of right now, it is tropey. It's stuff we've seen before, but I'm digging what we've seen. But yeah, Taylor Field. Oh no, Kirkland, you go. You had your ET
Yeah,
finger.
screw Taylor Field. It's going to me. I was gonna say for a big chunk of this episode, I thought for sure I was gonna give my prediction of like, okay, this character, possible, love interest, Kamran. I definitely thought he was gonna be the villain of the show, just from like where he was introduced. It was like, oh, the new senior, and then it's just like, oh, I've
Yeah.
seen this many times where she falls for this really handsome man who's like she thinks is the perfect Prince Charming,
Yes.
and then he does something really shady, and like she has to fight him, and then maybe Bruno saves her life, and then that's what leads to like that romance going on.
That could be all
yeah.
season one. That could be all
It
season
could
one.
be.
which you
No,
laid
it
out.
could be. I think I'm a little bit less in that camp because of what happened right at the end of this episode. But yeah, like as soon as like some of those lines were dropping from camp, like I've never seen this guy before. They're making a point of emphasis of like the popular girl. It's like, oh, you're the new senior, right? Like nobody knows who this guy is, this random person. Especially when he before you see Nani, I think that's her name right now. Like before you see her, it's just this random individual that just saved her when she was in peril. I'm like, okay, he was working with this. Like I was guaranteed on that. It all kind of went out the window with that sense. But overall, I think that character's great. Very handsome man, looking good. So
I was the opposite route where you thought, oh, that reassured you he's not going to be villainous. I thought the ending was very much like, we've been waiting a long time to talk to you. That's bad guy 101 type of dialogue, So
if it was just him, yes. But I think like the new family, like because that's her family member, right? Like, is that her auntie? Is that what that dynamic is? Yeah,
I think. Yeah. But like, and so what is he going to be actually related to her then?
Yeah, he's her actual cousin.
Oh, he actual
That's the
cousin?
joke, I
Line.
think, right?
So but she didn't know that at the dinner, like the lunch. Okay. I thought I was missing that. I thought I missed that. She actually was just having the hots for her cousin. I was like, fuck, we got to talk about a whole different show now. This is like the Brady Bunch. I'm like, what did they do here? But okay. So yeah, that can be fun. I am interested to see where they go. I think you're right that I don't think he'll be like the big bad she fights. He could be like the Draco type character where he's like caught in the middle of like a family, squabble or something. But yeah, fair enough. The reason I was throwing it to you is because when I was talking about Bruno and the annoyingness, you were laughing and trying to hold something back. So what do you think was going on?
Fucking 7-inch dick wrapped around his neck. Just can't ever get that out of my head now since you started singing it.
Go check out our Jurassic
Zero
World
context.
review.
Does not help.
Yeah. This show about high
Reference to
schoolers.
today, I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, continue. This is a different Bruno.
Yeah. I'm just trying to like figure out like I wasn't convinced that he was really her cousin. I was convinced that was just a lie.
At the dinner part, at the lunch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Or
was
how
a
to
lie. But at
watch.
the end of the episode, it's
Yeah,
confirmed that
I
they're
mean,
cousins now.
I think that's her mom's sister, right? Like that is.
Well, yeah, because who
else would it be?
Who is she
Like-
FaceTiming? Who is Kamala FaceTiming?
That was her
That was-
grandmother. I
yeah,
thought,
that was
her
someone
nanny.
else. Yeah.
And then did she say my mother like owned that bracelet? And I thought that's who was in the back of the car because she like disappeared.
No, because she said that was my mother's, which is like her great grandmother's.
Oh, okay.
Great grandma. But this person in the car, that the guy was like, yeah, no, this is meet my mother
Yeah.
or whatever like that.
It's-
So I think this is all new.
It is partly confusing because it could be her aunt, but they also refer to just any as woman in their community as auntie as well or uncle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's just a thing. So it is a bit confusing when we're actually trying to break down the blood relatedness of these people.
It's like when your friends used to have like their really close friends and they would just tell you that's your aunt, your uncle, but it's like it's not real. Like I'm not saying that's what this situation is, but that's
Yeah.
where we are. We're confused. We got lots going on. But what do you think about the love triangle, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm on team. He gives me Tom Holland vibes for some reason, but I'm on
Who?
team the kid technician guy. I don't know what it
Bruno
is.
gives you Tom
Bruno?
Holland vibes?
Like not Tom Holland, but like young Peter Parker vibes, I guess. Like I don't know why. I'm just getting that, and maybe it's because he's super good with like his gadgets and stuff like that, or maybe
I think I said that last week. I feel similarly. Like he's not on that tier, but I feel like there's a lot of similarities you could draw there in terms of the look and the tech and all that.
He's
yeah.
a freak. just like Parker. You're a freak,
Awkward.
Parker.
You're a freak, Parker.
You're a freak, Bruno. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to fight me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely on his side. I hope he gets Miss Marvel. Like, he knows their secret.
He will.
and-
Come on. Like what?
But
you really think
she treats
that's
him
not
like
gonna
shit though. Like, oh, I forgot your power gloves in the bathroom. Like, and he obviously
say he's
was
pretty
very hard on
friend-zoned.
those.
Oh yeah, he's definitely friend zone right now. I don't know if she's treating him like shit. Like
Yeah,
she,
that's
like,
what it is.
yeah, that was a bit harsh.
Here's my
Like,
homework.
she genuinely like forgot the gloves, and she was gonna go on the date with the guy and stuff. And plus, it's not his fault because it feels like they're maybe alluding that she could have maybe liked it, but it didn't seem like he made a move or something like that. which
That's
is
true.
really
He
well.
definitely he backed down. He had that scene, and he could have made his move. And
Yeah, he could have kissed her last week. They were sitting there on that rooftop. They're looking
Thought about his power
longingly.
gloves though. He got excited.
Yeah, you got my power. Yeah. What about you? Oh, go ahead, sir.
I was just gonna say the other chap, like, he definitely does not seem like a high schooler. Like, he's just driving fucking Corvettes, Lamborghinis.
He very well might not be. I mean, he definitely popped in here like this is some Secret Service stuff.
It's like Channing Tatum at
did.
21 Jump Street
Yeah.
vibes.
He just shows up to this party and just does a fucking backflip, triple dive off to this guy's little pond.
I don't remember that part in the
I thought
movie.
you
but-
did a front flip.
Definitely a front flip.
A
Definitely two
backflip,
flips.
triple dive. So he did a backflip, triple dive. So
Yeah.
damn, he's got it. Yeah. What about you, Dylan? What do you think about all this?
Yeah, it's interesting because it's already presumably done, right? Like that. I don't think there's going to be any more romance going on between Kamala and Kamran now that this reveal has happened. Because she's probably feeling like, okay, he kind of duped me. He was just kind of schmoozing up to me. This wasn't real. So I don't know. It's weird to think about this because I feel like they really didn't play on it like you usually would a love triangle like that, where you keep it. Oh, who's gonna end up with who? And you, in the case of Harry Potter, sometimes do it for years and years. But like I don't know, they kind of just did it over with pretty quick here. So I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I do feel like Kamala and Bruno are gonna end up together. It feels more certain now that that's going to be the case. And I mean, I don't know, because are we going to get another season of this show with this same vibe? I'm not sure. So I feel like they're probably going to want to do it now. But yeah, at the same time, if she's just going to go off on these adventures with other characters, like, do they want that kind of thing going in where you're like expecting that in the movies? And it's like, well, we're not going to show you more of these two teens like making out while like Captain Marvel's over here fighting Thanos' son Thane or something like that. I don't know what
Thane, man.
They could
Yeah.
kill him off, and that's their motivation for becoming more of a superhero.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you get. He tries his own triple
Travis
backflip.
did say there's a lot of there's a lot of pain coming to these children in this show so far.
Yeah, he gets taken out by a hammer, like the Promptler girl, and he didn't survive because it's just Bruno. But yeah, I'm fine with them ending up at the end. But I honestly hope they're not like a couple. I don't need Kamala like tied down when we get her into the movies. I hope they kind of maybe string that along for another season. They've been very cagey. Like I think even the showrunners been like, well, we've pitched it as like a mini series, but we'd like to do more. So yeah, it's the thing with all these Disney Plus shows that they don't really know what they're going for. So I think that they'll end in a way that maybe I think they already hinted at what they're going to happen is I think he's going to move. And I think that's the best thing because he's but my future, like, he's like, but that's in Los Angeles or whatever he said, right? So I think they will, where was it?
California.
I said Calgary. I'm like, fuck, what's good? Yeah, you mean the Calgary, Canada? He's like, oh my god, what happened? But
It's very
I think
prestigious.
yeah, like the only school I would accept is far away Canada though. But I think that's what'll happen is they'll admit to have some feelings. Maybe we'll get a kiss, but he'll have to move, and it's like, well, one day, we'll work this out and be together. I hope that's the route they go.
Yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense. I was gonna say the other possibility would be that they episode 6 they do end up kissing, and then they're just like, you know what, maybe we're not, maybe we're just friends, and then they just kind of go back to that, which also is like tropey enough that it fits in with what this show is doing so far.
Yeah.
I think they could play that off, and that could be a fun solution to it. But I think yours makes a bit more sense, and that's a good way to write him off. You don't have to hear from him in future Miss Marvel stuff. But then if they want to bring him back, it's easy. He moves back. Done.
Yeah.
I'm still always wondering what happened to Liz in Spider-Man Homecoming. She moved. Her dad
That's
went
true.
to prison. Her dad's
her
in
in
the
a while.
fucking Morbius universe. Like, what's her life happening right now? But I haven't
And
seen
now
Liz.
she doesn't even, and like her whole life got shifted because of Peter Parker, and now she doesn't even know who that is. Like that must just
Right.
be really trippy.
Yeah.
You know?
Doesn't know who he is. Doesn't have a dad. What a life.
She's the next villain, I think. Villain
Yeah.
origin story.
Let's take another ad break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Kirklin Patzer. I see you're licking your lips. You want to say something? Get in here.
I don't really know what to add, unfortunately.
I thought I
gonna-
kept seeing your mouth like, like no any new topic, not on this, but just like anything in general. How'd you feel with damage control get in here? We saw that teased last week.
Fuck yeah, I I don't know, like those two agents. Who was like the one agent from? He was in
Oh, No Way
Spider-Man?
Home. Yeah.
Yeah,
No Way Home. He was interrogating the Peter
Yeah.
Parker family.
I feel like I didn't love him in No Way Home, and I'm getting more of the same in this. It
Yeah.
it was funny because like that sequence was when Shay walked through the door, and she got like really pumped because apparently that actor was in the Anna
Succession?
Delvine Netflix show. Like he was like a lawyer or something, and she really liked that show. She got really into it, so she like knew him right away, and so she got jazzed, and I'm like, oh, that's funny because I really don't like this character like at all. It's just like the humor around him is just. It's a character I've seen before, and like that's what they're going for, and he's doing what they're asking of him. It just doesn't personally work for me. It's a choice, but not really the one for me. I feel like also like at this point in time, and this isn't even necessarily like an MCU thing. I just feel like it's really common for like a new superhero to just like not be understanding their powers, and then there's like this government group that's just like tracking them down because they're dangerous. And I've just seen it like many times.
Get ready for X-Men, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up X-Men as the example.
You're gonna get 18 movies of I'm a young kid and I don't know what to do with these powers, and the government's like fucking lock them up.
And like I think it has its place, and like introducing them right now, like I think like if you want to put her in like a movie type thing, like that's a really easy like cross. Like I guarantee there's gonna be some agent that she just gains kind of some confidence with by the end of the show, and then maybe it's just like, oh yeah, we'll be in touch, and that's how she gets into a movie or something like that. I could really see it going that way, but I feel like what is going on in the show with just her and like her high school life, kind of like what Dylan you're mentioning, like you said the slice of life like genre. Like I think this show works really well in that vein. At the end of the day, it is an MCU show, so it does have to kind of turn it up like another level at some point. But I think, I don't know. I think I want it to be pretty limited because I just really like Kamala and her family and like the humor around those characters. So these like kooky agents, not really working 100% for me. But
I also felt that scene was a bit strange where they were kind of interviewing the girl, I can't remember the name of, but the popular girl, and they just like somehow very quickly got to talking about like which race the person was that they're trying to find. They like narrowed it down based on her reaction, and then like immediately found Kamala at this festival. Or I mean, this didn't find her, but I guess they were just watching it with all their Mysterio bots that they had flying around.
Yeah.
So I feel like I was missing something. Like, did they have a lead from last episode that? Like, because I forget what
the
their
video.
bio-
It was the video. Someone took a video of the event that happened. That's what
And
they're
so they
working
could,
off
like,
of.
Yeah, I guess that
It wasn't great scene.
It felt
yeah.
like it felt like there was quite a bit of a leap in logic there for me to understand that. But
Well, and yeah, you brought up that up, Dylan. I thought it was weird. So they had him, who's like he's a guy who's like maybe in the middle, right? The main guy from No Way Home and now here, where it's like he's doing his job. He might be a hard ass, but he's just trying to do his job. But they introduced the female psychic that she was not in No Way Home. And they're trying to make it sound like she was there maybe the whole time, but they were making her like really aggressive. And she had a weird line when she's like, is this person Latino? And then she's like, oh, what am I supposed to say? Latinx now? And I was like, where are we like, why is this character saying like, I don't think MCU is tackling like, we're going to have a racist character in here. And that's what it felt like they were doing. And it was strange of like, it's just funny in like a real world because I was just on vodka stream and Dave's Latino and he's like, I hate when people call me Latinx, and like honestly every Latin person I know is like, I hate that term, and it's just so funny that's like going around as like
Latinx?
that's like
I feel like I haven't heard that before.
yeah, that's it's supposed to kind of like go for male and female and like other genders as well for like everybody. Like Latinx is just like,
I see.
but most people are kind of like we've always just been fine with, I guess because there was Latinos and Latinas,
I see.
but like people also just like we were fine with Hispanic, but that's a different conversation. But it was a weird beat. The only thing I didn't mind, we got to see her like have some power. She had to fight some like drones, which I thought that's a great like little enemy type for her to like shoot off enemies and stuff. The only thing I did not like is, okay, so she's running away from this drones, damage control. She jumps over this car, and obviously we got Kerman and his mom that pick her up. The damage control was like, it was like Vader and Obi-Wan. They're like 5 feet away from each other, and they could hear.
There's
You
a
could
big
hear
van in the way. Travis, come
yeah,
on.
and my
It was
favorite thing
windy,
is
too.
the favorite thing is Kamala jumps in the car, it drives away, and that agent runs past that van and looks around like there's no vehicle whatsoever. Like they literally just left. They just left. And it's a little minor stuff, but it's like that's where it comes down, like feeling more kiddie at times, where it's just you just look down the road and you could see that vehicle there. It was some kind of messy editing. We've talked about the Obi-Wan, where some of the action stuff lately with the Disney Plus shows have been like a little. I just wonder if that's. I do wonder with the Disney Plus stuff if they have like a different type of units when it's like the film stuff and the Disney Plus stuff. So because it always feels like lately the action the Disney Plus shows between like Moon Knight, Obi-Wan, and this, where just little stuff like that, where it's so small the set or so small the area that they have to work with, it just makes these people look dumb of like they're looking around and can't find her. But I liked the use enough. I don't even think when they had that video that they really even needed that interrogation scene. It's just they have a video. It's a girl Kamala, like that looks like Kamala Khan, and like they're looking for this girl. Like it was, I don't know, not really needed for me, but we got it. So
Yeah, and even just the setup of it, of just the classic like good cop, bad cop thing. But then he's like also just a bad cop because he's like toying with her, and then he's like clearly just I don't know, manipulating her. So yeah, a bit strange. I'm curious how, like, are we gonna see those two every episode? And their journey trying to catch her, or do you think
high chance,
or do you think they like
Oof.
sunsetted it with here, and now we're set up for the next intriguing character point? Because
Oh,
like the
no.
end of them.
yeah.
Or like I don't know, is it we're just gonna see these two doofuses every episode, like kind of doing just some random minor thing and failing? Like I don't know what the end game
So
here.
if
Or do
we
you
have,
think she gets like found out and then she's like publicly known as Kamala by the end of this?
that's tough. I think they might withhold the publicly thing for a little bit longer, just because she is younger, and maybe they'll play that up. And if she's in the Marvels, they might be going up to space, so her identity might not matter. So I think they'll hold that. I think if there's 4 episodes left, we're gonna get them at least in 3. That's what I think. What I don't know what their screen time will be, but just that shot of the ending of that agent like looking around to me is like, okay, they're still on the hunt. So yeah, I think 3 out of 4 will get them.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Taylor, do you have anything to add on damage control? If not, you can take us somewhere else.
Well, I was trying to understand the reference of like their name, like acronym on their vests, and I didn't know what that was really like pointing out. Is that like their official branch name, Damage Control?
Yeah, well, remember they were the people in Homecoming when Vulture was working on those sites with all those people, and then they came and took all their gear and everything. It was a Tony Stark run thing, and I think it caught probably because his death is kind of like spun out into something that wasn't in his control anymore. But it started as a program he did, as just like helping cities after superhero destruction.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then it definitely fits why they're worried about enhanced kind of going around and doing their own ruckus and causing trouble, especially when she almost fucking spears this other like student at this convention. So
Yeah.
yeah, Christ. I don't have anything much to add. Just I think there'll be definitely a reoccurring thing though, for sure, in the season.
Well, you want to take us somewhere because I have hit. Well, there's one big thing I wanted to talk about, but other than that, I got most of my notes.
I will lead us right into that fucking classmate getting fucking speared. Like I legit thought she died when that hammer came down and like it hit her and knocked her and smashed her in the wall. I thought no human being's gonna survive this, but she's just swinging back and forth like it's an amusement park ride. Like holy shit, I thought she'd be dead for sure. Not even a brace or a cast.
No,
she's
she's
at
fine.
school the next day, tweeting and Instagramming it out. Like,
Getting more followers.
yeah, definitely. So I was trying to detect like, okay, when we were introduced to her, she didn't seem like she was much like a bully or anything, because she seemed like semi-friendly, but she just likes attention, I guess, and being popular. That's her priority. But she didn't seem to be super rude to Kamala. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they're going the bully route. I think just the maybe uptight and kind of pretentious sort of route and stuff. So what I want to talk about was in this episode they also talked about with her auntie, which that could be it, but they talked saying, oh, she went missing, or no, sorry, it was her grandmother went missing and a bunch of other people went missing as well. I think that's the tip off for last week when we got her going that parallel universe and seeing those purple people with the eyes. I think it has something to tie to that, which I heard other people kind of compare it to their version of the what is that place that T'Challa goes, the astral plane, like almost that's their sort of astral plane where they're seeing ancestors and whatnot. Now, this sounds more antagonistic because it's like they just went missing, but maybe they passed away and they went here. So I don't, obviously we haven't got the full explanation, but I feel like that was them trying to hint at something, some event or something led them to being in this. And I don't know, does that mean these people can be unlocked and brought back into our world, or are they just gone and they can give you advice like a force ghost? I'm not sure, but at least we got like a little more hints about that. So that was the only biggest thing I took else from this episode.
Yeah, it was hard for me to dig into that because it was like a bunch of aunties around gossiping and telling their different stories and stuff. So it was hard for me to tell exactly what went on. I mean, I guess the dad shared his story as well, but it's just so much like everyone has a different perspective, and then everyone's perspective is like passed down now for a couple generations, so then it gets warped naturally, and then everyone tells it a bit differently. So I really don't have much of a prediction as to what's going on there, but I am very curious what we're dealing with, because yeah, these powers definitely have two sides to them, and that's the less obvious one that hopefully we dig a little bit more into that next episode with this other new character getting introduced right at the end, and they can explain some of what we're seeing there.
Yeah, it's gonna be explained like the dark side of the powers, and there's gonna be this whole poll, and I hope not. But Kirklin, Taylor, anything to add on that revelation?
I think it's really cool that there's like something that kind of like almost like an astral like plane type thing that gets tapped into because of the it's not a bracelet. What was the term they call it? Like a bandle or something?
Yeah, I can't remember what I know. Yeah, it's not a bracelet, obviously, but
yeah.
I'll try and
armor,
find
Whatever
it.
it is, it had a cool name, and so just like it, because in that moment I was like eating dinner, and then I like looked down, at my plate, getting a good forkful of my dinner, and then I look up,
was
and
your
and she's just tripping. It was chicken and salad, nice and
Okay.
pretty light and healthy. I like to imagine.
Like a chicken salad, or like chicken and then also a salad?
chicken, and then like in a salad, with some
Okay.
feta cheese and everything. Yeah, not nice little.
That sounds like
simple.
a chicken salad, but I don't know. Maybe
I said it
Yeah.
weird because it's not like it's not like a chicken salad. Like the salad was on its own, but then it's like let's put some chicken in here. So
gotcha.
chicken with the salad. You're right.
Mm.
You're right. It is chicken salad. So, what the fuck was I even gonna say? That was a
Sorry,
long
I
little
definitely
tangent.
got you off. You were eating your dinner and something.
Oh yeah,
excited
yeah.
happened.
And then she's on like the astral plane, like seeing like her like Nani, like just staring at her, and I'm like, what the fuck did I just miss? Like, did I fast forward accidentally? But no, it's just she looks down the insert term for her wrist jewelry here, but and then like it starts glowing, and then she just kind of morphs out, and I'm curious if she's gonna like go there. It's almost like she's meeting like the last Avatar, if you're familiar with that series, the Last Airbender and stuff like that. It seemed very similar like that, where she was just like speaking. I guess a better example would have just been like the T'Challa one, where he's seeing like the previous Black Panthers, because obviously this character has ties to this device. So I'm very curious what happens there, and if it's a thing that she kind of goes to multiple times, not just in this series, but like with her character, like it's a part of her character. Travis, you say you don't have much knowledge with the like Miss Marvel comic books, but like, is this a place that she?
Not that I
has
know,
tapped
because
into?
I feel like because this is like her powers are so different. This is tied to her
Yeah,
powers,
okay.
where the other powers are it's a mist that makes her stretchy, like or in biggin and stuff. So if it's anything in comics, it's nothing that I've seen, and I don't think it is. So I think this is a new wrinkle.
Yeah,
And-
but yeah, I like it.
And we see because last episode obviously she still had that one vision or one entrance into this realm, but then we saw more of it here where that character's like showing up and talking to her. So I don't know if it's like as this person's getting closer to finding her and stuff, like they're communicating more easily. So if that is the case, I'm wondering like, well, last week was that character in New York and like getting close or something like that, or was it just that when she put the bracelet on, then that other person could detect that someone was wearing the bracelet and they're gonna go find out who it is? So I don't know. I feel like there's something going on there. And then I guess my other question was, in this episode we're also seeing that obviously she's like learning her powers We already talked about the one where her like arm turns big and it falls to the ground. She also had like the nose thing
Mhm.
where the power was shown up. Is this like a puberty parallel, or is it like
Yeah.
something to do with that parallel dimension?
I think it's both. It's a parallel dimension, but I think it's acting as like again, yeah, you don't think you've seen it, Dylan, but it's very similar to Turning Red, where
Oh, yeah.
this panda
Right.
represents like puberty, and I think that's what it was because it's like there she's hiding. They make the joke about the pads and everything like that, so I think it is. You have that. You have like a mini love triangle that's not a triangle. You have the parent, so I think that's what it is representing.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting that we didn't really see that last week at all. And
Mhm.
I know she just got powers near the end of it, so it wasn't really time necessarily, but just wanted to ask about that.
Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to bring up was her other friend, Nakia, I believe is their name. This is her other friend that like they go to the mosque together and stuff like that. And I feel like last episode we obviously got introduced to her, but she was really just like the side of all side characters. Like I don't think she had any individual scene with Kamala. She was just kind of showed up a couple times at school. So I like that we got more of who she is, the backstory, why they're friends, because they go to this mosque together and they can kind of bond over that, and the struggles of trying to fit in with the rest of the people when they have to go do these rituals and stuff like that. So I like that character. I think she's fun. I don't know how in depth her story is going to go throughout the season, but I like that. I feel like she got her time to shine here, where Bruno got his time to shine last week. So I think that was good that we got a little backstory on who she was.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
was my second last note that I had. That I was happy. She was just the third wheel last week. Felt like a nothing character. Some jokes. We got some backstory on her. Great. I'm happy about that.
And like her little like mission like in the show is like going for the mosque council. I think again like
Right.
this is where they were talking about like some of the cultural things of they're Pakistani, I believe, right? In the show. I know the actress is in real life, so
Yeah.
they mentioned multiple things, so I wasn't exactly sure like where they're from specifically, but like Muslim culture.
How'd you get that British accent? Oh, I just put that on. It's just for you. It's such a fool you. You got me. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, so like and like this is where I mean the spoiler free section I was just touching upon. Like I think they're doing a really good job at just making it digestible for someone like myself that is just really like no knowledge on the subject to like okay no I kind of am able to peer into what it's like from their perspective, and then just like the struggles of this character Nakia of like just the hurdles of her being a woman and like in that culture like it's just they're definitely like you know like a lower totem pole individual, and like her trying to break through that and be like a more modern just like 2022 version of like what a woman can go for. And I really like that because again it was not what I was expecting the show. Like I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. I think I really wasn't sure overall what the show was going to be, but I'm really happy that it is bouncing it because it's really like important, like, you know, social conversation to have, but it doesn't take away from the overall plot of the show. Like I had mentioned Falcon Winter Soldier. I felt like they did a good job with like the social injustice issues, but I still think there's some episodes where it's just maybe like too dense of it, like in one like sitting. But like I thought it was just in this one episode, but it was spread out very well, and I hope it again has that same balance going forward with the rest of the episodes because yeah, I want her to win the you know the Moss Council.
The conversation she had with Kamala's dad was great. I really liked that.
Yeah,
that
100%. And then also just like the partition of like the story around like the dinner table that they had, like that was something that I had I had no idea about, and then just hearing like their takes, and as you mentioned, Dylan, like some of them had like their own perspective on like what had happened, and I liked it because again, it's just more knowledge on a Disney Plus show that I was not expecting to get like you know some good information on. So.
And that's kind of very true to form. For like, I haven't read much about what the comics do tackle. A lot of it, like people have had side by sides of certain scenes that are laid out the same way. So they're taking the source material, which is always a good thing if you can make it work. Obviously, you want to adapt stuff, but it's good if that's when the core values of it, especially with that, it's not a big represented in the media as far as superhero stuff. Like, there's no other Muslim big time superhero right now. Seeing they have Shang-Chi, so. Yeah, no, the only two things that I have that are just quick notes is one, when she was saving the kid, she did the superhero landing, so it was good. And it's a superhero landing in a way where it's like almost egregious, like it's over the top because it's her first time doing it. So that worked, and hopefully she meets Elena one day and they get to talk about that. And then two, the scene where I was like, man, this is where I just love him on this role, is when she first saw Carmaron, or Cameron. I've just said his name
Comran.
3 different ways. Cameron. When she goes back home and does like a mini musical number and she's running around, that was great because she, again, charisma is just flowing. It's so good. It's just joyous, like everything. She's holding the sweater, she's doing the moves, and yeah, that's just stuff where I do feel that I don't know how much the show's gonna get watched, but I think people, when she's in movies, are gonna love her and they're gonna go back and watch this and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, she's had this the entire time. But yeah, that was a great scene.
That one specific moment too, like when she's dancing around, and she basically has like the same light effect that you have on right now, Travis. You know, if you're a video viewer, you'll understand.
It's for a reason, Kirklin.
She's just like doing like her dirty dancing, like just like literally, she's on cloud 9 right now. Like she just had the best time ever. And then when she gets to the fridge, and then it just like opens, the music cuts, and then it just like comes out of the fantasy. And mom just asked her how it went. She's like, absolutely magical. And then it goes like right back to just like that super over the top whimsical. Just like Mile High Club experience that she's having. Like she was just on the top of the world. It was awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that because I actually forgot to write that scene down. But it was very visually pleasing, but also just a fun scene overall. And maybe I'll add on onto that is like when like you first see her in this episode, like when she found out that she has powers, so she enters school and she just has so much more like confidence in herself, and she's just like, you know, doing finger guns to people and just like being so happy with herself. Like I really, really like that sequence too, and just her and our interactions with everyone. That's where she first sees, you know, her. At the time, she didn't know it was the cousin, but possible future love interest, and it was just a really great moment. And she just sells it because she's so charismatic, and she's really, really good on like delivering like something without actually saying the words. Like I don't know the best way to describe that. If you know, you know. But yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah.
Couple last things from me. One, Travis, last episode you were really praising Kamala's mom in the show, and I think she does another. She doesn't have as much content in this one, but even just that scene that Kirklin you were mentioning, and you just see her reaction, and she's looking the other way, but you just see her reaction as she's hearing this story again. I thought it was really good, and then even just the fact that she decides, yeah, you can go to this, or I don't think she knows she's going to a party, right? She just said she's going to a friend's house.
Yeah.
But I like that. I thought that was really sweet that she let her go and she just wants to, you know, wants to keep her safe, make sure she's doing okay and stuff like that. So I like Kamal's mom. She didn't have too much here, but what she did have was good. They brought back the kind of fun effects. I don't think they did it as much as they did in the first episode with that bike scene, for example. But once again, when she's texting on the bed and like the pattern of the bed is filling up with these text messages, I just love that stuff. Like that CGI, they nail it. It looks so good, and just adds so much character and style to the show. And as well, when Cameron drops them all off at the store, and like for all the lights have just turned into like these big hearts and all these heart symbols.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, I just love that stuff. And then once again, I praised this last week, but I'm gonna praise it again. The music, I just love the music in this show. The tracks that they pick to fit the scenes, but then also the score, I think, is fantastic. You mentioned the love scene, but I definitely wanted to shout that one out as well. And then for me, just like the little touches, like when Bruno was talking to the counselor again, or I guess last week it was Kamala talking to the counselor. Now it's Bruno talking to the counselor or the principal, whoever he is. There's like this music going on there that's like, it sounds like Wii music. It's like these little weird chirps and chimes. It's like kind of off rhythm, just adding these little highlights. Like at the end of one character's line, it'll just like fade into this little thing. Like, I don't know. There's the score in the show is fantastic. And once again, I just think it makes the pacing so good. I mean, I know these are short episodes and whatnot, but the music really takes you from scene to scene. Even at the end of that scene with the counselor, it like goes right into some montage with Kamala and a bunch of other like totally different music playing, but it just works perfectly. Like the editors, the composers, like directors, all of it is like working in perfect unison. I feel like this show is just nailing that vibe that it's going for. And I love it.
Yeah, I agree. It has like a good tone. Like it feels like by time episode 3 of kind of the world and just
Mhm.
type of the vibe it has already, which is good. It has a distinctive style, which you want, right? You don't want to just kind of have something bland and about young people. So
Mhm.
I
that's
wanted to
everything.
mention
Yep.
this because I found I think it was on the IMDb, and I just quickly I never ever go on like the IMDb like user reviews or anything like this. I was just scrolling and I just saw like the clickbaity like first title of it. I had to take a screenshot because it just made me laugh and I wanted to share. So top review for the show. This is a show for kids. Being childish is the point. Just and then goes in. That's like the title.
Mhm.
Just like how Star Wars is geared towards kids, it's okay. Not everything needs to be 100% grungy or serious. It's okay for kids to also get some shows that are built specifically for them. And I completely disagree with this comment because I think that they are covering a lot of bases, specifically like what I was mentioning with like some of the like the cultural like information things. Like I wouldn't expect like I'm never getting that in Lizzie McGuire or like something like that where it's like a super center for kids show or like I think like the humor, okay, yeah, she's in like high school, whatever, but like I still think it's appropriate for all ages. I think we talked about it in
Yeah.
the last week episode as well. So yeah, I definitely don't think the show is for kids. I think going into it, maybe we kind of assumed it was going to be that way, and I was pleasantly surprised it wasn't. Like it has that general audience rating, I would say, that anyone can kind of enjoy this one.
I'd still say I won't say kids. I'd say it's geared towards young adults. I'd say that. I feel like that's the
Yeah.
prime audience still because they're going through the things that they would like do: puberty, dating, parties, lying to your parents, stuff like that. So
Fair
I
enough.
still, if you were to ask me, I still say it's more for that audience, but you can still enjoy it.
Yeah, no, you're
Clearly they
true.
are. So
I'm loving it.
Taylor, you got anything to add?
I agree with so many of your guys' points.
You're looking sleepy.
Spot
Did you have a
on.
midnight review last night or something?
Yeah, I might have.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll end it right there. We'll be back next week with Miss Marvel episode 3. Yeah, we'll be back. Same bat time, same bat channel, and promise you, I'll not be boring.
Peace.
See ya.